and roll that open. Ready to open mics 1 and 2. Ready to cue them on camera 3.
Well, I think, a lot of students see, oh, look at these guys, they're on TV, they are doing the weather, they're pointing at the green screen, they're reading off a teleprompter for that half hour. And, students really don't see the work that goes into producing these half-hour broadcasts. It's really an entire day's event.
It takes a long time. I mean, I'll just give you yesterday, I produced the news yesterday, even with 4 of us. I mean, I think I got down here after, around 11 o'clock, and I was down here all day. I didn't leave. And I know I think it was probably like 3 o'clock to 5:30. That's all I was doing. I wasn't doing anything else because we had some stuff we had to rearrange. And as a news producer next year, I know that's going to be my main task. So it was a solid, 2.5 hours of straight getting the rundown together, printing things out, getting everything upstairs without really much of a break in between. So it's a lot more than you see on the half hour. The half hour newscast is just a drop in the bucket compared to how long it takes to put it all together.
When I produce, I try to group up, okay, I have 2 accidents, we'll put those back to back, then we have a fire, let's put that there, and then we'll maybe try to put something, lead in to a commercial break, end on a happier note, maybe, again, a fluff story, if you will. So just really the pre-production aspect of everything is knowing what you have to work with.
And that's a really underrated aspect too, is stacking your rundown and making sure that you have the most important thing first. You don't want something, really trivial to be first and then to be followed by something really, really meaningful, or you don't want something that is a soft news story followed by a really hard-hitting, news story immediately after. You have to really plan and think about it and take a good look at your rundown and say, hey, does this make sense? Is there a natural progression in your rundown? And that's really important, underrated, and something I'm still trying to learn, to be perfectly honest.
I personally will watch news stations like WPXI, KDK, WTAE, and see what their stories that they're producing, and that kind of gives me a better idea of, okay, that's a really important event that happened, or that accident really involved a lot of people. So I sort of look at how many people are also being affected by this news story, along with proximity, different things like that.
And then sometimes you just kind of have to go with your gut. What feels, you have to remove yourself when deciding what goes first from you as a director. If I was at home and watching this, what would I want to see first? The one day, I remember we ran a story, our top story was bridge construction, and I looked at that and went, why do we do that? No one cares about bridge construction. So you just want to be mindful of those things, proximity, immediacy, and impact and things like that whenever you stack and order.
Well, pre-production is definitely the most important part of the production process. Without pre-production, if you just went straight into the actual production, first of all, you wouldn't have any content.
Hi, my name is Chloe Winters, and I am the CUTV assignment editor. When I'm looking for stories, I always look for something that I think that students would want to listen to, something that students would want to watch, because it needs to be relevant. Planning ahead is very important, especially for me as the assignment editor. I always have to make sure that the stories are relevant. I have to plan them ahead of time and not throw something together last minute, because then the quality is going to be bad, especially when you want a newscast to be as professional as possible. Planning ahead is very, very important in that aspect. Well, after I write down the stories, we have a news meeting after the broadcast, and I like to give my reporters a lot of freedom. So I give them a list of package ideas, and then they can just pick and choose which ones that they like. And sometimes even if they have their own ideas, they can come in and bring those in. And if they're good, I say, great, run with it.
Well, as a reporter, whenever you go out to shoot a story, it's extremely important to make sure you're getting good quality footage. So just making sure that everything's in check, making sure that your camera's white balanced, making sure that you're not in a manual focus and that everything's blurry. You just really want to make sure that everything looks good camera-wise, and then just making sure you're capturing the moment.
My name is Chris Gillis. I'm the student engineer and operations director here at CUTV The Nest. I mean, a broadcast to me is problem solving. I mean, since I do work behind the scenes and that's all I do, it's not sitting on desk and being able to read and look good. It's how many problems can I solve in one night? I mean, to go back to some of the stuff I've done this year, 6 o'clock, someone's like, camera's not working. I get a half an hour to play cable corrector and fix everything I can. And so to me, it's how fast can I think on my feet and how good of a problem solver am I? So the whole behind the scenes is the unsung, because from the director, who is the captain of the ship, anything goes wrong, immediately I put the blame on them because it's their job. They should be monitoring everyone. They should be comfortable in all the roles, and that's the big one. They got to know if a little thing comes up, how can we relieve the pressure and keep moving through without letting the emotions get caught up.
It's a huge process putting together a broadcast. Not only do you have the producers who put everything together, but you have to make sure that there's enough people to run crew. You need to make sure that there's 3 camera people, a floor director, someone running audio, a tech director, a director, and someone to run teleprompters. So those are a lot of positions that need to be filled, and that needs to be something that's made sure of, that there's enough crew throughout the day to make sure we can get people down here. So
I think, again, the biggest thing is that people need to realize that it is not just the 4 people you see sweating under lights. It is the 3 camera people, for here at CUTV at least, the 3 camera people, the floor director, the 5 people upstairs, and then the producers if they're not on the desk or on the crew that night.
Chroma is one of the coolest things that the video world has produced, in my opinion, because there's so many possibilities. In the sense for the news and our broadcast, you got the green paint, you got the anchor in front of them, and if it's precisely lit, you light them up, and then you're able to take that green color that's behind them. Using the software we have up in the control room with the NewTek toaster, you're able to say key out whatever shade it is with the hex colors and the decimals, and then it takes that away and you can throw up whatever effect you want. I'm here on a good week, 40 hours. Bad week, 60 plus. A lot of it depends on what all's going on. When we did the President's Conversation, I was down here after broadcast from 9 until close to midnight, redoing the lighting grid. For remotes, if I have to be out there, it's 12 hours or 13 hours on my weekend. I'm there as the engineer to make sure if something's gone downhill, I can help them recover it and get their production back on where they want it to be. So for me, it's a full-time job plus some hours.
Kind of amazing to see a broadcast come together after you've been here all day and putting in the work for it. It's really great to see your hard work all come together, and it's not just my hard work, it's everyone's hard work. Every department, we all work hard to produce a quality news package, and it's really amazing to see that all come together.
people see it's a half-hour broadcast with people talking, and it's so much more than that.